In late July of 2019, I drove to Kansas City to buy a car. While there, I decided to head on over to the Kansas side of the border and check out the historic Kaw Point Park, a park known for a couple different things, but mainly because Lewis and Clark stayed there once and because it's where a couple major rivers meet. Let's check it out. So there's the sign for Kansas State Line. That's a boring sign. Yay, I'm in Kansas. Oh, there's a nicer sign over there. So I stopped at this little park on my journey called Manor Crest Park, hoping to use the bathroom, but this looks kind of sketchy. Why is there a deadbolt at the bottom and the top? Yeah. This does not look like a nice place. This looks like a park that maybe at one time was nice. It was called Manor Crest. Sounds very fancy. But I have a feeling this is where bad guys come to do bad things nowadays. Hey, at least they have a basketball hoop, 2 basketball hoops. So I left the local park and now I'm heading through a Kansas City, Kansas neighborhood here on my way to the point where the Kansas River and the Missouri River meet, which is a historically significant point for reasons I'll describe momentarily. So at the point where the Kansas and Missouri rivers meet, back in the day, I believe the early 1800s, when Iowa was separated as a territory from Missouri, the northern border of Missouri's territory, or Missouri State, I'm not sure which one at the time of the survey, was defined as 100 miles north of the point where the Missouri and Kansas rivers meet. So, even back then with their extremely limited technology compared to today's standards. There's a cool old building. They had to figure out that point and then go 100 miles north. The tricky thing is that point is in the middle of a river. So more to come. So I've hit a bit of a snag to get to the point where I actually find the confluence of the 2 rivers. I have to go forward 1 more block and turn right. But there's a train blocking this street that is literally motionless. So, time for GPS to be abandoned and I guess instincts to take over. Okay, so after getting unstuck from the wrong side of the tracks, both literally and figuratively, I believe I'm almost to Kaw Point Park. Now there's a sign, Lewis and Clark Park at Kaw Point. Very strange. First of all, see that building back there with the cool logo on it? You have to loop around 6 times and go through a commercial parking lot to get to this point. But that's okay. It looks nice enough, so I will look around and we'll see where the mighty Missouri meets the Kansas River. Straight ahead is that cool Lewis and Clark silhouette on a big building that appears to be abandoned. I shouldn't say abandoned, but for lease. Look, Lewis, it's a tall building. I agree, Clark, we have discovered it. Well, there's my dad humor for the day. So this is the point of Kaw Point, or at least that mud out there is. I'm not going to go that far. I'll get to this rock out here. So we have downtown Kansas City over there. To our right is the Kansas River. which flows into the Missouri River coming from our left. And right out there they converge and head towards downtown Kansas City, beyond to the Mississippi, and eventually to the ocean. So swim out there or take a boat to the middle, put a pole in the ground, and then go exactly 100 miles north, and you'll get to the Iowa-Missouri border. At least that's the task the surveyors in the early 1800s were given. Quick panorama. You can see that this area is sometimes underwater, as it's very sandy, kind of like sand mixed with dirt. Each of these stones has a name on it, which my guess is these are all the individuals who were on the Corps of Discovery, led by Lewis and Clark. Of particular note over here is Sergeant Charles Floyd, who my understanding is was the only member of the Corps to die while on the journey. He passed away near what is now Sioux City, Iowa, and there's a monument that looks like a small version of the Washington Monument called the Sergeant Floyd Monument or Memorial. So this stone mounted illustration appears to show an artist's rendition of what they thought Lewis and Clark's encampment here at Kaw Point might have looked like on June 26, 1804. And it appears that it was originally called the Kaw River, later renamed the Kansas River, and they come together and then flow this way, but the Corps of Discovery would have journeyed this way up towards Sioux City, Iowa, what's now Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So we're here, I believe. And yep, Sergeant Floyd died here. R.I.P. Sergeant Floyd. There's a bunch of monuments of some kind in a half circle. I don't know what they are. Let's find out. It looks like each of these monuments has the name of an Indian tribe on them. There's no reason given, but if I were to speculate, these would have been all the tribes that Lewis and Clark interacted with during the journey of the Corps of Discovery. Kansas Kia. Well, that's interesting. I just bought a car at Oaks Kia in Kansas City. The sign says public restroom, but there's another sign there that says the restroom's only open for special events you have to reserve. But they have a porta potty. I'll just hold it for now. And the monument to the Indian tribes from a distance. And the big industrial park. At least it's nice that Lewis and Clark silhouette points to where the park is located. And there's my new car way down there. If you want to hear about the process of me getting that new car, well, at least a car that's new to me, check out my video on buying a car out of state. It's actually a series of 3 videos. Or you can watch my video reviewing the Hyatt Place near the Kansas City airport. Thanks!